And time to go live on Facebook. I wish you could see what I see. Like the way I have this whole thing set up. I've got my actual phone here, and then I've got my computer here. But I got this whole thing rigged up, and I have successfully been able to create this little studio with my computer. I got it on top of a few books. This just goes to show you you don't have to be an expert to make this thing happen to get on live. So, what's up, Instagram? Let's get it. What's going on, Facebook and YouTube? Today, we're going to be talking about the formula that you need to implement in order to avoid failure in your business and your health goals in 2022, and not just in 2022, but at any particular time. This is a formula that has worked well for me. This is a formula that has worked well for my clients to be able to avoid failure and create consistency. Consistency is key. For many of us, it's not about new knowledge. Our challenge is not getting new knowledge. We definitely need new knowledge. We need to always be growing and developing and getting new knowledge. But for many of us, the challenge is not the knowledge we don't have. It's the inability to consistently apply the knowledge that we already have. So we're going to be talking about this formula. I'm on a little late, but I miss doing these lives. So you guys are going to be seeing me do some more lives as we come on. Make sure you share this information with someone else. Ladies, if you're watching this, make sure you share this with a brother that you know wants to achieve at a high level. Obviously, you are definitely more than welcome to tune in as we talk about this, because these are principles that are going to be applicable to your life as well. This formula is applicable to anybody's life. But as it comes to who I work with, I specifically work with men who are looking to grow their business and career without it coming at the sacrifice of their fitness, their family life, and their faith. So let's talk about this thing. You want to make sure and stay on till the end, because I'm going to be talking about a way that you can plug into a challenge that I'm going to be hosting in the next couple of weeks. This will literally be able to bring together all of the things that I teach on the lives, part of what is in my best-selling book, and be able to help you turn things, to turn the page and to really get to the next level in your business, to be able to make more money, to be able to have more impact, to be able to have more influence, to be able to have more income, to be able to have more intimacy in your relationships, and to be able to hit your health goals. I couldn't think about another I word that started to be able to talk about your health goals. But that challenge is going to be showing you the keys to how to be able to do that, keys that have helped me to be able to do that and the clients that I work with. So let's go ahead and get this in. Our challenge is to make sure that we hit our goals. Specifically, we're talking about our business goals, our health goals. These are two of the most common goals that people really are looking to achieve when it comes to the beginning of the year. Business goals, health goals, wealth goals, health goals, however you want to say it, fitness goals, finance goals. And the main thing that we need to do, there's really one word that we need to focus on. And this one word is the difference between frustration and future fulfillment of the goals that we want to accomplish. There is one word that stands between our wondering whether we'll hit the goal and actually winning toward our goals. And that one word is habits. It is all about habits and the habits that we put in place. It is about what we habitually do. And the way I define habits are those actions and behaviors that are automated and done consistently in order to bring about a certain result or outcome. So I'll say that again. Uh, a habit is an action or a behavior that is done consistently or automated in order to bring about a current result or outcome. And so the difference between where we are now and where we want to go is going to be based on the actions and behaviors that we habitually do, the things that are our habits. Habits is the difference. Okay. And for many of us, when it comes to creating new habits as the year gets started, it is we typically will focus on the behavior. Like if I could just, we'll look at different behaviors and tasks that we have to do, different actions that we have to do, and say, if I could just be consistent with that behavior. Have you ever thought, like, why do I not do what I know needs to be done? Like, I know what needs to be done. I know what's necessary in order to get this result. But like, why do I not do the thing that I know that I want to, that I need to do? Have you ever thought about that? Like, I know I need to do it, but I still don't do it. And so many of us are just thinking, like, when we're creating habits, and we get that, like, habits have to change in order for us to get a different result. But when we're starting to create these habits, we focus primarily on the behavior. If I could just do more sales, if I could just work harder, if I could just go to the gym more, if I could just, if I could just work strictly on the behavior, then I'll be fine. And when you think about that, I mean, that sounds like it makes sense. And for me, I thought about that. I thought that way for a long time. Like if I could just do the things, if I could just get my act right, and if I could just do more stuff, well, then it should turn into more results. And that's true. But that's not the formula for creating an effective habit that actually works. And it wasn't until I figured out this formula for creating habits that actually work did they actually start working. And so that formula for creating an effective habit that will turn into consistent behaviors that therefore turn into results is belief plus the behavior. Belief coupled with the behavior will turn into consistent action, will turn into the habit that therefore goes into the results. Another way to put that is the right mindset coupled with the right method is going to turn into an effective habit that are going to be the behaviors that consistently go. And so what we end up neglecting in that formula, some because we don't realize it, is that belief, is that mindset. And so I did a live yesterday talking about, your mindset. The definition of your mindset is your belief system. And so many of us are leaving that key piece out as part of the formula to create a habit, to create the behaviors that go on automation and are done consistently to turn into results. So again, that formula for creating an effective habit is belief that is coupled with the behavior. It's the mindset that's coupled with the method. And many of us are neglecting the mindset and the belief part, which is why the results aren't happening, which is why the consistency isn't happening. So to answer the question of like, why do I not do the things that I know I need to do? Why do I not do the tasks and the things that are necessary to do? Is because we're leaving out a key part of the ingredient. If I'm baking a cake and the key part of the ingredient is flour, that cake ain't gonna come out very well. I'm giving you the recipe to be able to make a great habit cake. So I want you to think about it this way. When you think about planting seeds, in essence, we want a certain fruit. We want a certain outcome. Look at the fruit of a tree as the outcome, right? You look at an apple tree, its end result is an apple. And so many of us are saying, I want a different result. I don't want apples. I'm getting apples, but I want a different result. And so what many of us will do is we'll just focus on the thing that's directly connected to the apple. We'll just focus on the behavior, which is like the branch. And it's like, well, I'm just going to break off some branches that have these apples. And as long as I break off the branches for a while, maybe I'll get some, maybe this tree will start growing peaches. Okay. But the only way to change the fruit is to change the root. So the reason why we don't get consistent results, or the reason why some of the things that we don't want may stop, is because we may stop those behaviors. We may just break off the branches for a little while, and sure, the apples will stop for a little while, but guess what? We never got to the root. We never got to the root of the problem. So after a while, apples are going to start growing again. And so if we only use part of the formula and just change our behaviors, our habits will never change. The tree will never start, growing a different fruit. But I tell you what, if you started planting new seeds and put new roots in the ground, it will start growing a different fruit. So the way to get different fruit is just to plant a different root, plant a different seed. But most of us don't go that deep when it comes to creating new habits. We are at the superficial level trying to create, and superficial, and those superficial things are going to create superficial results and inconsistent results over time. And so there's a method that I teach. First, it worked well for my life. Once I started realizing this, I started understanding that any new goal that I was going after had to be, and the behaviors that I knew need to be done for those goals had to be coupled to an underlying belief that my mindset had to change about that in order to do that. I was a night owl for years. I tried to become, a morning person. I knew that there were benefits to having a morning routine and being a morning person. And I was a night owl my whole life. I've gone from a night owl to being a morning person simply by saying, okay, there are behaviors that I know need to change. But if I don't change the belief about how I see my mornings, about how I see myself, about how I once saw myself as a night owl type person, then it wasn't going to change. So you want to accelerate things. You want to have habits that actually work and are effective. It has to be both the belief coupled with the behavior. So there's something I teach. It's a 5-step process to be able to create effective habits that will actually help you to achieve your goals. Okay. I'm going to break down the 5 steps here. Okay. First step is you got to get clarity. You have to get clarity on what it is that you want so that you can know what behaviors and belief needs to be changed. So you got to get crystal clear clarity on what you want. So that's number 1 is clarity. Number 2 is you have to start to work on your calendar. What I mean by that is, for many of us, we struggle with time. We say we don't have time to be able to do things. Time and consistency are our 2 greatest challenges to be able to get things done. But there's time sitting there. In the reality, there are people who get a whole lot more done in their 24 hours than other people. So the calendar is a method to be able to be used to get structure around your calendar so you can actually get time back. You got to look at your calendar and figure out, like, where can I get time? Because there is no goal that will be achieved without time and space being dedicated toward it. So that calendar step is a method and a mindset that has to be put in place in order to be able to get time. So you got to look at your calendar and figure out, where am I going to, how am I going to get the time and space to start to dedicate toward this new goal, to start to dedicate new habits, to start to dedicate new belief and behaviors toward achieving this goal. So you got to get clarity. You got to get the calendar right. Third, and what's huge, is contentment. See, many of us, we believe that if we can succeed at something, we will therefore be fulfilled. Once I achieve a certain dollar amount, then I'll be fulfilled. Once I get this relationship, then I'll be fulfilled. Once I lose the weight, then I'll be happy. Okay. Now, outside looking in, that makes sense. It's like, well, that's why I'm going after the goal, so I can be happier, so I can be better. Well, well, it wasn't until I realized this idea was that success is not or fulfillment is not a byproduct of success, meaning that fulfillment doesn't come from success. If it does, it's very temporary. But more importantly, fulfillment is actually a precursor to success. So we need to make sure that whatever goal we're going after, that our happiness and well-being doesn't depend on the achievement of it, but let's get our cup full before we ever get started going after the goal. And that way the pressure is off. Like, I don't necessarily need this to be happy. However, I'm going after it because I'm already fulfilled. Like I'm already fulfilled. I don't need the achievement of this thing in order to be fulfilled. But when I'm already fulfilled, it gives me the fuel in order to succeed. And the way to do that is your faith. Look, I'm gonna just be real with you. And I'm not here. Look, you'll hear me say this all the time. I'm not sitting here trying to tell you that you got to convert to anything that I believe in, but I'm just telling you what has worked for me and what has worked for the people that I work with, what has worked for so many people is that at the end of the day, when I get my cup full by my relationship with God, and that everything that I need comes from Him. Well, man, my cup is full. Like, I can go and successfully fill the cups of others. So when I'm coming into any habit to achieve a goal, I'm not coming into it in need of it. I'm coming into it saying that I'm already good and in a position not to place any extra additional pressure on me to make this thing happen. But now my fulfillment, my cup being full, is going to fuel me in order to be fulfilled. Fourth thing that we got to do is now we work on capacity, and capacity is we really dive into the mindset. We really work on mindset of whatever habit that we're going after. And a lot of this is tied to our identity. And many of us work from the outside in, meaning that like I said, if I could do this, then I'll be successful. Or if I still got a certain title, I'm a doctor. That's how we identify ourselves, right? But it's not until we realize and understand our intrinsic value and worth that we have, and that our value is not tied to what we do, how well we do it, or anything like that, but to realize that we are already phenomenal, and therefore we will live and express how phenomenal we see ourselves. So our capacity for what we can do, for how we can do more, be more, have more, is going to be tied to who it is that we see ourselves. How you see yourself is how you will express yourself. How you see yourself is how you'll be yourself. So therefore, if we have to see ourselves different, we have to identify ourselves with truth. Many of us are trying to achieve something and then identify it. Then identify with it. Okay, well, I made $1 million, so now I'm a millionaire. No. Don't work like that. The way to really do it is to say, I'm already it. Now I express it in my life. But by doing it the other way around, by trying to achieve it and then say I'm it, we start suffering from imposter syndrome. Am I really it, even though we got it? But when you got it, you got it. Like when you got it, you express it. So we start working on identity. And then last but not least, this is consistent connection. So we do the double C at the end on number 5. It's consistent connection. This is having the consistency. I'm getting too excited. I got 50,000 words want to come out of my mouth, and only one can come at a time. But fifth thing is being able to create a consistent connection. What I mean by that is many of us are trying to work out of our own power. We're trying to work out of our own power. So when we set goals and they're just far enough outside of our reach of what we think we can do. But when we have a connection with God, we start realizing like, dude, I'm not working on my own power. I'm working on His. Do I truly believe that He can do all things? Because if He can, well, then I'm borrowing some of that power. Let me tell you. So we are able to create a consistent connection. And if we can be consistent in that area, check this out. Many of us are trying to be consistent in everything. Like I'm trying to be consistent in my business. I'm trying to be consistent in my as a husband, father, business owner, leader. Like I got all these things I got to be consistent in. But the reality is, what if you could be consistent in one area that's set up like a domino? Like if I could be consistent in this area, it'll knock over all the other dominoes for me to be consistent in other areas. That's what this consistent connection does. Following these 5 steps, there's no way not to see results on the other end. There's just no way. So here's what I'm going to challenge you to do, because challenge creates change, right? Challenges create change. And so I'm going to invite you to join a challenge that I'm going to be doing January 17th through the 22nd. And these 5 steps I'm going to be breaking down, right? I talked a little bit about it, but I'm going to be breaking down. Each day is going to be dedicated to one of these steps to be able to help you create effective habits that actually work, that aren't just premised on behaviors, but that are tied to, anchored to an underlying belief, so that you can start to achieve your goals. If you're wondering, like, why am I stuck? You know, the bridge between stuck and success is habits, but we got to know how to create them. And I'm going to be breaking down each of the C's that I just talked about on this challenge. Each day is going to be dedicated to exactly what I talked about: clarity, calendar structure, contentment, capacity, and consistent connection. And as a result of taking this challenge, let me tell you something. If you take this challenge and you do not get way more value than what you paid for, I can guarantee you, first of all, you will if you apply what I teach you. But the other thing I'll tell you is I'll give you your money back. If you participate and you actually like do the things that I teach, and it's not because I'm great, it's only that the principles are great, right? The biblical principles are great. That's it. And so, as a result of taking that, you will start to see change. You can get unstuck. Okay. You can start to see differences in your business. You can start to see differences in your start to see differences in your business. Start to see differences in your health. Right? Start to see differences in your relationships. Start to be able to achieve your goals at a higher level in your business without coming at the sacrifice of your faith, without coming at the sacrifice of your fulfillment, without coming at the sacrifice of your fitness and family life, to be the man that you have always desired to be. And not have to wonder at night, am I going to feel that potential that I know is inside of me that I've just yet to be able to experience? I know what that feels like, man, to stay up at night trying to figure out, like, is this ever going to happen? And I don't want any other man out there to experience that without me being able to say, hey, man, I got a way that I know works. So my challenge is for you to join this challenge. And I'm going to put the URL up there right now. For those who are my Instagram folks, it is drbradmd.com. So that's drbradmd.com/winning habits. And it should be on the post. You should be able to click it and go right to it and be able to register. If you're really trying to make it happen, you just want to get VIP, because at the end of the day, I'm going to be spending more time with you. And you get one of my Amazon best-selling books in the whole 9. I can't wait to pour into you guys. Listen, I just like doing this right here. I can tell you right now, if you just listen to what I talked about today, you're going to experience change. Okay. This is free game. Free game. All right, you guys. Listen, I'm signing out. Love being back on these lives and stuff for social media. Let's see. Eric, my man, Eric Williams said, thanks, Dr. Brad. Just ordered your book on Amazon. Wish I could join your challenge. He said, but I'm time challenged, working full time. I get it, man. Well, I will tell you, Eric, hit me up, shoot me a text. I'll show you how to get the time so you can, because here's what I don't want you to do. If you see value, I would hate for you to say, you know what, I don't have time. The thing is, like, it may cost you more not to find the time so that you can get to this thing and figure out how you can get time. If you get the time to watch this, here's what I'm gonna tell you. If a lot of people are thinking like, man, I don't have the time to do it. Let me share something with you. What if by watching this, I showed you how to get the time so that you can have time that will go toward the goals to become the man that you want to be? What if this got you the time? So the question is, yes, I realize you may not have the time, but you may not be able to afford not to figure out how to get the time. Okay? Reggie, what's going on, man? I see you, Reg. What's going on, brother? You're a bad boy, man. All right, listen, I'm signing off. I'm out. It's time for me to go spend some time with the wife. We got a financial meeting tonight about the Ballard Financial Estate. All right, you guys. I'm out. See y'all soon. See y'all in the challenge. Again, winning habits for motivated men. Everything should be in the post. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.